Welcome back. This week's video is going to be part of a little series that I'll be doing over the summer and into the start of the next academic year on applying to Oxbridge, Oxford and Cambridge. And this week I'm going to talk about what you can do over the summer to start preparing for the application process, which starts a lot earlier for Oxford and Cambridge than other universities because you need to get your applications in, I believe, by the 15th of October. So let's get into it. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any further questions on what I'm talking about, stick them in the comment section below. I will get back to you, and subscribe if you haven't already. So let's get cracking. Okay, so tip 1 is to have a break over the summer. You've just had exams, you spent months revising, and before you start anything else, before you start thinking about anything else, make sure you give yourself time to relax, because it's really important to properly recharge before you start thinking about the complicated process of applying to university, and especially Oxford and Cambridge, where the process is so intense. So I recommend you have a nice rest, maybe take this time to go and see the cities of the universities you're thinking about. So whether it be Oxford or Cambridge or wherever else in the country you might be thinking of going, but not with the thought of, oh, this is where I might be going to university in mind, but more just, oh, this could be a nice place to live. So yeah, taking a break, I think, after your A-level exams is really important. Tip number 2 is to make sure that you know what course you're applying for. It can actually be surprisingly hard sometimes to choose between biochemistry and medicine, or I'm not sure, French and Spanish, or just Spanish. So you do need to have a think about what you really want to do. And this sort of leads me into the next tip. Tip 3 is to start reading around your subject, to do a bit of research. So this is really helpful for several reasons. 1, it allows you to decide what course you want to do. It helps you understand your course better. 2, you start to research, I guess, the sort of things that you could do in the future, and the sort of areas of interest you might have within your subject. And 3, you begin to collect a base of knowledge on which you can draw from when you start writing your personal statement. So as a humanities student, I started reading poetry, books on linguistics, other literature, so that when it came to writing my personal statement, I could talk about this extra stuff I'd been doing in my personal statement to make it seem more impressive. Oxford and Cambridge are really interested in what you do related to your subject outside of your A-level studies. So it's great to talk about your A-levels, and it's great to talk about, I don't know, the sport you do outside of school, but they really want to see you engaging with your subject in another way. And I did this by reading books. I found it really interesting, and it made me 100% sure that I wanted to pick French and Spanish as well. So I think this is really key to getting the right degree and moving forward to talk about various subjects in your personal statement. To give you the sort of idea what I read about in my personal statement, you can have a look at the video I put up a couple of months ago about my personal statement, where I read it out loud, and you can sort of see the things I talk about, and how in depth sometimes you need to go. I'll make another video on how to write a personal statement at some other time, but I think for now it's really important to, any time when you're reading you come across something interesting, or you think, oh, do you know what, I didn't know that before, just take a note of it down on a little notebook that you keep for your application process. And when it comes to your personal statement writing, you should have a nice little, it doesn't need to be a huge list of quotes and interesting facts that you've learned, but you have places to draw ideas from to then talk about in your personal statement. So that's tip number 3. It's a long one. There's lots to think about there, but yeah, I think that's a good place to start in terms of extra things you can do for your personal statement. In addition to all of that, sort of still in tip 3, you can start to look at your course pages that you can find on the university websites. And from there, you can maybe even find reading lists for first year. So you can start to have a look at the types of books you might be expected to read in your first year at university, or the types of subjects you'll be studying if you're doing a STEM subject. So you can sort of start to see whether you are really interested in the course that university offers in the first year. That's sort of quite key. If you really want to, you can maybe even start to read some of the books on the reading list, or even better, read books by the same authors, or authors at the same time the books on the reading list are written. So it makes it look like you're engaging with the subject you'll be studying at university in first year. Tip number 4, I would say, is mainly for STEM students, I would say, especially medicine. This is really important for medicine. I've been told. I'm a humanities student, so everything I've said up until this point is mainly focusing on humanities. It can be applied throughout all subjects, but obviously remember that my perspective is from a humanities perspective. But anyway, this tip really helpful for everyone, but especially STEM and medicine. Go and find some work experience. Go and work at a vaccination centre if they're still open. I'm not sure if that's still a thing anymore, but lots of my friends did that. Go and find some clinical experience or some teaching experience if you're doing a different subject. Go and work in a lab somewhere if you can, in a hospital, or go and talk to engineering companies if you want to do engineering. See if you can involve yourself in everything that they're doing. Try and find new areas of interest that you can talk about in your personal statement. This is all about making your application look good. So if you have work experience and you can say, I learned this while I was working for X company, it makes you look really good. It makes it look like you've been engaging with what you want to study, and they will get really excited about you. The admissions tutors will get really excited about this person who has gone out of their way to try and find work experience and things that enrich their sort of portfolio of life experiences as well. So not only is this great for applying to university, but it's also great for making your CV look a lot more interesting. So yeah, I strongly recommend finding work experience if you can. Volunteer in school, in your science lessons, or yeah, just have a think about what you can do. So yeah, that is tip number 4. Tip number 5, the last tip I can give you for preparing for the application process in September, in October for Oxbridge, is to get excited. This is a time of big change. It's how you start the next step of your life. So whatever you decide to do, get excited about it. Make sure that you're having fun reading your books, going on your work experience and everything. So you have your break after A-levels, you start to read into your subject, really get involved, really engage with what you're reading, with everything surrounding your subject, because admissions tutors can really tell when someone is passionate in their personal statement. So get excited. Find really specific areas that you're interested in, because this shows that you really want to think about your subject. You really want to engage with it. I've said engage so much, but it's really important to truly be invested in what you're applying for. Find these specific areas of interest and talk about them in your personal statement when it gets to that time, and really hone in on what you're interested in. Use this as a learning opportunity. Use this as an opportunity to grow as a person. So yeah, there we go. That's the end of this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said at the beginning, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment sections below. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because throughout the summer, and as we lead into September or October, I'll be releasing more videos on how to write a personal statement, how to get ready for interviews, how to get ready for what are they called? Admissions tests. So, thanks very much for watching. Again, stay tuned.